When the government tells you, yes, we want to normalize inflation at 2%, do you know what they're telling you? Yes, we want to steal your money, but we only want to steal it at 2% instead of 6%.
Today, our very special guest is Rudy, also known as Alaska Prepper. The main mission of the Alaska Prepper is to encourage people to prep for what lies ahead. He also believes strongly in building community to help all of us. His motto is reach one, teach one, and repeat. He believes that the more people around you that are prepped and prepared, the better off we will all be. In this, he is going to discuss about the inflation. Inflation measures how much more expensive a set of goods and services has become over a certain period, usually a year. It may be one of the most familiar words in economics. Inflation has plunged countries into long periods of instability. Before starting the video, please take some time to check out our channel, and if you like what you see, you are welcome to subscribe.
Inflation only has one way to go, and that is up. We may have a dip here or there, but in the long run, it will be going up. So today is the best time for you to prepare with those things that you know you're going to need in the future. This article says that U.S. inflation moderates at 6.4%, but price pressures remain. That's almost kind of like an oxymoron. But let me explain to you that the inflation that they're putting out here, that 6.4%, is a lagging indicator. They're telling you what happened last month. But what I'm going to share with you is what's going to happen next month and how you can look for it yourself and see where inflation is truly going. Reading a little bit of this article here, it says that the pace of consumer price increases eased again in January compared with a year earlier. And of course, you know that the government loves to change the way that they measure things. That way, we the people can be fooled into thinking that everything's great when it's really not. The latest sign in the high inflation that has gripped Americans for nearly 2 years is slowly easing. Ladies and gentlemen, do not get fooled by this. The best time for you to prepare is now. Don't wait. Don't try to wait until something is going down in price. If you notice that something is on sale for whatever reason, because remember that today's sale prices are last year's regular prices. So if you can find something on sale by happenstance, go ahead and stock up on that if you use it. But don't stop stocking up just because you think that the price of things are going to go down. They are not, ladies and gentlemen.
U.S. wholesale prices, one of the key determinants of inflation, rose the most in 7 months in January, according to a Labor Department report on Thursday that seemed to further complicate the Federal Reserve's job keeping a lid on price growth. The back-to-back reports on inflation underscore the challenge to the Federal Reserve's plans to have smaller rate hikes this year after a year of aggressive monetary tightening.
When they say that inflation is easing, it means the rate of inflation, the rate at which those prices, current prices, are going up. But they've found a floor. Very, very small amount of things, and maybe in localized areas, will prices come down a little bit, but eventually they will find themselves up again because we have made a floor onto what we are paying for things. Inflation is just the rate at which prices go up, but inflation has not eased, not nearly to the levels where they were before the health crisis. And here they continue to say consumer prices climbed 6.4% in January from a year earlier, down from 6.5% in December. It was the 7th straight year-over-year slowdown and well below a recent peak of 9.1% in June. And what I want to go ahead and bring forward to you is this. You know that 9.1% that we recorded in June as far as the CPI? The reason I'm trying to bring this home to you so that you understand. The raise in prices or the rise in prices that 9.1% made is still here. It's just that now, from those prices, from that high of 9.1% year over year, now those prices are still going up, but only at 6.4% as calculated by the CPI. And I want to show you why it is that I have the notion that prices will continue to go up. And that has nothing to do with the CPI. You see, the Consumer Price Index is a lagging indicator. And now we're going to talk about the Producer Price Index, which is a leading indicator, meaning that it's going to show you what's coming in the future.
According to BLS, the Bureau of Labor, PPI for final demand advances 0.7% in January. Goods rise 1.2%, services increase 0.4%. December job openings rates up in 10 states, down in 1, layoffs and discharges up in 7. CPI for all items rises 0.5% in January as shelter increases. Real average hourly earnings for all employees decreased 0.2% in January.
So here from the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it states that the producer price index for final demand increased 0.7% in January. Okay, 0.7%. What that means is that it is going to cost, right? It will cost manufacturers, right? Companies that produce things, it's going to cost them 0.7% more in January than it did in December. Okay, so that means that the things that manufacturers produced in January, you can bet that you're going to be paying more for when it finally hits the streets. And usually I would say that they have a 60 to 90 day lag on the things that they manufacture, depending on what it is. And then putting it in a different wording format, a producer price index for an industry is a measurement of changes in prices received for the industry's output sold outside the industry. So they're pretty much saying the same thing that they said before. It's costing them more. So although we had lower inflation by 0.1%, I think it is, for January, we still had higher producer price index for January, means that going forward, there are going to be higher prices because it's costing the manufacturers more to produce something. So now out the door, it's going to end up costing you more. And we also have to remember that we live in a credit-based economy. And what that means is that all the way from the producer, all the way to the consumer, even nowadays, because people are borrowing money just to eat, that they're using credit. So everywhere that there is a break in the line, so from the producer there's a break, and then you go to the truck driver, there's a break, then you go to the wholesaler, there's a break, then you go to the supermarket, there's a break, and then if the final consumer uses credit, it's going to cost even more. So since they're using credit, everywhere there's a break, there's going to be a little bit of a higher price because credit now is more expensive as well.
What are your thoughts about the situation of inflation? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like our content, give this video a big thumbs up and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you for spending a bit of time here today, and many blessings to you and your families.